Check, check, 1, 2. Oh, I gotta piss so bad. Oh. Oh, God. I tell you, man, that's one of the scariest things in my life. There's a lot going on. But mostly I'm concerned about why I had to piss 3 times in the last half an hour. That cannot be good. Lucy's are up to 75 cents a pop, dude. The fuck is that? The last time I bought Lucy's, you get 3 for $1. So I handed over $1, expecting to at least get 2. He says 75 cents. I'm like, huh? And it broke in my pocket. See, that's why you got to have a backup, because this one's broken. Look at that crook to it. So I had a backup ready to go. That must have happened when I was just pissing. $1.50 for 2 Lucy's, dude. What the fuck are we doing? Do I even need this filter? What is this filter even doing for me? I'll compare and contrast unfiltered versus filtered. What does that filter even do? It tastes better without the filter. I'm going to be spitting a lot this video because cigarettes bring that out in me. Unfiltered is definitely better. Yeah. Do you even know you can buy loose cigarettes? Is your did you not grow up in such an economic situation where did you just buy whole packs when you were smoking? You still smoke? If you still smoke, you should stop. Probably about one of the worst things you can do for yourself. I guess the worst part about an unfiltered cigarette is all that mess getting into my mouth right now. Would you just buy packs? I don't know. We used to buy Lucy's, 3 for $1, and now 2 for $1.50, 75 cents a pop. The inflation on loose Newports, menthols, has gone up 3-fold, and we're not rioting in the street about it. What the hell, dude? You have no balls. You have no balls. I guess I don't either, because I'm screaming into a camera, not into the face of some asshole who's fucking my life up. I don't even know who to scream at. So who can you blame? I don't blame you. Certainly don't blame myself. And if I knew how to blame, I'd get weird. Got a video ready to go today. Letting go of hatred by embracing anger.
That was for you, you know that? I did just like you told me. If you ain't first, you're last. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, I was high when I said that.
Be careful, we're using the house. Safety. Safety first and teamwork.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. I do have a test today. That wasn't bullshit.
Gonna burn myself, I think, today. One of the weirdest things, or just like one of the least good things that we're all dealing with, is like the suppression of emotion. And some emotions are, and it goes both ways, the suppression of some emotions and the over attention and the overvaluing of others. Emotions are emotions. They have the exact same value to the human experience. It's like anger and sorrow and glee they all serve to like help you figure your way through this life. So I'm going to focus on anger today because that's one that I carry close to my heart. And I've had some serious problems with anger in my life. I walk around with a chip on my shoulder that is precariously placed right on the edge. It's pretty much close to the edge as it is possible for it to be. And I'm slamming my shoulder into some people sometimes to just try to see if they'll knock it off. And that is not good. So I'm something of a subject matter expert to talk about hatred and anger. And I hope you find the information useful. Anger and hatred are human. It's fine in that. If it's not an alien thing, that it's not like plastic or, I don't want to get into make weird comparisons, but it's not a foreign thing that was introduced to us late in our biological evolution that now fucks us up completely. No, anger and hatred are human as shit, and they don't really fuck you up that bad unless you let them, because you don't handle them the right way. And I'm not even, and again, the things we don't go into is how come people have made us handle everything the wrong way. Not talking about that. Not talking about who did that. You already know. Shaming them is wrong. And you know damn well that anger has been shamed, and rage is like frowned upon. Don't be, I don't even, how do I have to explain that? I think everybody understands that. A person cries in class, they're consoled. If you have a gleeful student, he's, maybe sometimes you think he's weird. Like at worst, you think, oh, he's so happy. That's kind of weird. What's up with that? But most people are like, hell yeah, let's have this happy guy around. But if you like slip up just a few times a year and express rage outwardly, you are like othered, bro. You are on a list. And I never really made the mistake with that. But I would see, and I can remember how much we ostracized the people that couldn't keep their rage under control. I grew up in like black ass neighborhoods buying loose Newports, bro. I've seen rage. And the people that were doing the rage, they were like boxed up and separated and put down the wrong path to just let their rage fester and grow. And that both did a disservice to them and to the people that should have, been able to learn through seeing that happen and going through it with them and stuff. That. I want to swear less, so I'd have to do less editing here. Not being able to process these things properly. See, I'm burning my hand now. So the loose one's gone. Littered. Don't care. I'm not the only one littering around here. Not being able to process them properly is the issue. So the solution is right there in the issue. Hatred is caused by unchecked anger. Unchecked anger is the result of not being able to process properly a normal human emotion. So the solution is right there in the problem. How do you solve that? How do you process your anger properly? Well, start by understanding what you're capable of, like anger, and that you're capable of handling it just fine, and that's all fine. It's totally cool. You got nothing to worry about. Start there. The emotions can cook you. Emotions are a powerful thing. Human nature and humanity and the things humans are capable of are powerful things. And emotions are at the core of all that. And emotions are powerful things. Everybody knows that. If you have to be convinced of that, man, you need to just turn this video off and get the fuck away from me, because I don't want you near me if you haven't even figured out that emotions are powerful. So I'm gonna assume everybody knows that, and you should assume that too. And anybody who says anything weird Some people think keeping emotions in check is like the complete suppression of emotion. You want those people away from you, because when that suppressed force that is so powerful, like a fucking pressure cooker bomb, when it gets so powerful, it explodes, and you need to not be anywhere near anybody like that when that happens. So stay away from people like that. Embrace your humanity on all levels, including that you are, angry. Just, I'm not gonna say give yourself a hug like a or anything, but just understand that what you're going through is totally like what you're supposed to be going through, and get through it. And how do you get through anger so as to not live in hatred, though? It's actually quite simple. There's shortcuts. I live in a fucking city, so there's always problems, always sirens. That makes me mad. I'm not gonna freak out about it. That's how I feel. There's some shortcuts. I want to talk about a shortcut, but first I'll just get through what I wrote here. These emotions, don't let them cook you and destroy you and make you into a bubbling pot of unchecked, powerful humanity that you can't handle at all. So you lash out and destroy yourself and the people around you. Don't do that. That's terrible. Let it fuel you. Let the feelings that you feel, all of them, especially anger, not even especially, all of them. Don't just sit in your emotions and be like, oh, I'm feeling something right now. Let how you're feeling fuel your effort so that it can then be consumed. Even the good ones, consume them. But anger is especially one that you can see, obviously, that it is better to have it fuel action and then become consumed, because that fuel source has now been drained and has been turned into action. That's obviously the best case scenario. So when you're mad, like, okay, I'm mad. And why am I mad? And how did I get here? And what did I do to put myself here? And what am I going to do now? Boom, big part. And then go do it. Don't be a lazy bitch. Like, go do the thing you need to do. And watch how it's gone for now. Because when it's appropriate to come back, it will come back. But also there's shortcuts. Comparison is the thief of joy. To compare yourself to another man is not really exactly productive. I mean, it's straight up unproductive. Unless it creates emotions that fuel your actions. But you don't need, you're setting yourself up for like envy and rage and stuff. Don't do that. But when you can't help yourself, at least compare yourself to the greatest men that our country knows. Like this, our country is our life. Our country has set the exact stage for everything we know. And yes, your culture that goes back so much farther than that, and the world history that goes back so much farther than that, and is so much greater than the American story. Those things have their impact too, but I'm not interested in those things, and I don't care about those things. And I'm talking about our country and what the greatest men in our country have gone through, including the people in this journal, in this book. Stephen Ambrose's Undaunted Courage. Eric Eisner was a middle school teacher of mine, and he, for some reason on Facebook, just threw this book out there one day, and for some reason I was like, I don't know, he was cool enough. He taught me how to graphic design. Learning how to, he was my graphic design teacher, which for some reason in middle school I'm learning how to graphic design Photoshop shit, which is whatever, neither here nor there. And then that skill has profited me or whatever. So maybe I shouldn't be so mad about it. But it's a weird thing to teach a child how to do. But anyways, Eric Eisner, who taught me how to Photoshop, and I was pretty good at it, and he made me feel good about being good at it, so I valued his opinions. Years later, friends on Facebook, kind of inappropriate, he recommended this book. And for some reason, I got it. And I hadn't read anything in ages, but for some reason, the way he said it, and I can't even remember what he said, but he said something that made me think, okay, I need to know what that book's about. And that's what I'm trying to do right now, because it is like something that changed my life and continues to do so. It's Meriwether Lewis, Thomas Jefferson, and the opening of the American West. It's the story. It's the story based on the journals of the Lewis and Clark expedition, specifically from Meriwether Lewis, who I relate to so deeply and I admire so greatly that I have that in my life, that admiration and that idolization, because Eric Eisner recommended this book. It's you have no idea what went into us being able to live this life on this land. You don't have a fucking clue, dude. Promise you. Whatever you think you know about history, you fuck yourself in the ass with it. Take it out of your head, put it down on a piece of paper, say, I'm never gonna consider this again, roll it up, stick it up your own ass. Seriously. That's about as much, it'd be more useful in there than in your head. Because I'm not gonna insult you. History is complicated, and these journals, half of them disappeared, and they didn't surface until he was like assassinated, and then his assassination was spun into a suicide, and then limited, redacted versions of the journals were finally able to come out after. This happened like 20 years after the expedition, I think 15 to 20. That entire time he was suffering melancholy, just battling depression and unable to keep his head together. After everything he overcame, he then was not able to overcome the memory and the way that it affected his own mind, the things he went through, which were journaled and then were hidden from us. Our history, hidden from us. But through what was not hidden, you can make inferences about what was hidden. And I don't recommend doing that, but you should at least know what you can know. Of courage undaunted, possessing a firmness and perseverance of purpose which nothing but impossibilities could divert from its direction, careful as a father of those committed to this charge, yet steady in the maintenance of order and discipline, intimate with the Indian character, customs and principles, habituated to the hunting life, guarded by exact observation of the vegetables and animals of his own country, against losing time in the description of objects already possessed, honest, disinterested, liberal, of sound understanding, and a fidelity to truth so scrupulous that whatever he should report would be as certain as if seen by ourselves. With all these qualifications, as if selected and implanted by nature in one body, for this express purpose, I could have no hesitation in confiding the enterprise to him. Thomas Jefferson on Meriwether Lewis. I almost got through it without slipping up my speech, but that's okay. I'm not going to read it again. That took a long time. That was quite a paragraph. A lot of big words in it. I'm excited to talk about this stuff. This book, the story of this man, not so much Thomas Jefferson, but Meriwether Lewis. It's the most exciting thing in my life. It gets me going, bro. What you probably know about the Lewis and Clark expedition is the Louisiana Purchase gave us all that land. I think we bought it from, I don't know. I don't even know all the details. I should know. I think it was Spain. It might have been France. I hope it was one of those two. we bought a lot of land for a really, really good price. That money was hard to come up to. It was a huge controversy. The purchase that gave us the country we have was a huge controversy at the time because, Thomas Jefferson kind of like scraped together the money to do it, sort of without any consent from, his peers. He just recognized that it was the right choice and he did it because it had to be done. And then we had to send scouts through it. Not the first white men or European men, Western men, non-Native American men to have gone through there, because there were like fur trappers that had already made their way in pursuit of profit. But the first American scouts who were tasked with finding preferably a straight up water-based route across the country to the ocean on the other side. That was the goal, because if we could get there through water, the boats could transport the supplies we needed to build a country. They were traveling with the biggest arsenal known to man to that date. They were ready to rock and roll. Just about 12 men. 12 really tough, hard men. And they were encountering native savages who some of them were just people who had already been exposed to the white man, and they were excited for what he could offer, because they recognized that we were just so far past them technologically that they could get more from us. That's why they gave us everything. People are like, oh, the white man just conned them out of everything. No, we brought modernity to them, and it had drawbacks and consequences, like everything in this life. But they were giving to us. They were begging. Well, not me, but they were begging for like literally to fuck their wives and their daughters, because they were like, leave your seed in my life. Like, take you and put it into us so that we can be better for what you offer. They got, I wouldn't say fair deals, because what's fair? We got the greatest thing in the world. What could have been worth that for them? And then it didn't go so well. The assimilation afterwards. So I'm not going to say it's fair. It was fair at all, but it is what it is, and it paved the way for your life that you would enjoy. So try not to be too mad about it. It's just what happened. They went into the complete unknown, armed with nothing but each other and the biggest arsenal ever. That did help. And there was really no guarantee that they would make it across. There was just the task at hand. Find the water-based route across the country, study everything you can, take notes on everything you can. Meriwether Lewis became an expert in plants, animals, insects, natives. He learned everything he could possibly learn. He was of that caliber that he was able to take in all of the knowledge needed to, traverse this country when it was undeveloped. You can't imagine what that means. And then and they made it. He got shot in the ass by his own soldier, some blind asshole who thought he was shooting a deer. He shot his captain in the ass and wouldn't admit to it. But you can tell because of the ball bearing, because of what was sitting in the guy's ass. And he brought in a partner to help him, because he was humble enough to recognize that he could not do it alone. So that is where Clark came into the picture. And that's why Clark's not featured so much in this book, because it really was the Lewis and Clark expedition. Like, Meriwether Lewis was the guy. He was the best. He did the hardest thing any American man ever did, especially to date, but I would argue in all of American history. And he kept everybody he was responsible for alive through it. And then and that paved the way for our country. And then he was so defeated by what he experienced, by the understanding he gained, that he then suffered in his own head until he was assassinated, so that somebody could take possession of the information that he was kind of flat out refusing to publish. And then they wrote him down in history as like a possibly gay, depressed dickhead who didn't do anything that great and then killed himself. And that is a shame. So What does that have to do about letting go of hatred and anger? Whatever you're going through has got nothing to do with anything hard. It's hard because you make it hard. Maybe you've been made to make everything in your life hard so that you suffer eternally. And I wish I had 2 cigarettes to puff on. And then you put the money back into the pockets of the people that made you that way. But it is on you to appreciate what you have and to not let it cook you, instead to let it fuel you. And sometimes it helps to know what somebody who is as great as a man can be went through, so that you too can be humbled. And I guess that maybe that's all this boils down to, like, be a little bit humble. And then, you know, when you get angry, you sort of just get angry, and then you move on. It's such an amazing book.